Hey friends, welcome to Drills and Drama. I'll be diamond painting while we read some absolutely unhinged Reddit stories. Let's get into it. Before I start reading, I'm going to tell you that I am working on Celestial Kitsune from Sunshine.art, and I am just at the beginning of this diamond painting. So, let's get into the drama. So today we are going to be reading from the subreddit Am I Overreacting? The first one is titled I, 28 female, and boyfriend, 28 male, got into an argument tonight, and am I overreacting if I want to break up? Throwaway account, one of my first times posting, I just feel very alone and need advice. Some background. My boyfriend and I have been together for 9 years. We've both made mistakes. I'm not perfect, and neither is he. We have an 8-year-old daughter, and I'm currently pregnant with our second child, 30 weeks. What happened tonight? My boyfriend works overnight, so he usually sleeps while I make dinner and take care of our daughter. Around 6:40 p.m., I started cooking dinner for both of us. Around 7 p.m., I fed our daughter. She chose some chicken nuggets. Around 7:40 p.m., I woke my boyfriend up so he could get ready for work, then went back to the kitchen to finish packing his food. By 7:50 p.m., everything was packed and ready for him. I went back to the living room to make sure he was awake and said something like, "Hey, you're not up yet. I thought you wanted to get up earlier for work." He got irritated and said, "I am up. Can't you see I'm on my phone? Don't start the night like this." I walked away and went to sit down to eat. It was about 8 p.m., and I had just sat down when my daughter said she was hungry again. I got a little frustrated because I had just sat down to eat, and I'm very pregnant. I calmly explained to her that next time she needs to try to eat enough at dinner so she isn't asking for snacks 30 to 40 minutes later. My boyfriend overheard this and came into the kitchen with what felt like an attitude. He said, "She's hungry, just feed her," then walked away. I got up and get her an apple. He came back again and said, "Just give her a snack, she's hungry." I tried to explain why I was a little upset and what had happened. That's when things escalated. He started yelling and cursing at me, saying I couldn't talk to him like that he wasn't a effing child, and that I was disrespecting him. I'll admit, once he raised his voice, I raised mine too, but I was trying to explain my side. I told him he needed to stop, that I wasn't going to keep arguing, and that he needed to step back. He got angrier and said I started the argument by being disrespectful and having an attitude. I brought up an argument from last week where he disciplined our daughter by cussing at her. I had told him then that he could have handled it better. He told me I needed to back him up and not correct him in front of her. I apologized at the time and we moved on. Tonight I told him that while I was setting a boundary with our daughter, he needed to stay out of it, especially since he didn't know the full situation. That made him explode. He started throwing things and threw the food I packed for work at the wall. He walked away to get dressed. Our daughter came back into the kitchen to throw away her apple trash. When he came back in, he said to her, "Next time, don't tell your mom you're hungry because she won't care and won't feed you." I immediately told him that was not okay and that he needed to leave. That led to more yelling. Eventually, I told him I was done arguing and that we were done. He left for work. After he left, my daughter came to me crying and said she didn't think I was being rude. She told me I should break up with Daddy because he was being mean, throwing things, and she didn't want him to be mean to her baby brother. That absolutely broke my heart. Why I'm posting. I love him and I truly believe he is a good person, but when he's in a bad mood or feels disrespected, he completely goes off. He yells, curses, throws things, and refuses to see my side. I don't know what to do anymore, and I'm exhausted, pregnant, and worried about how this is affecting my daughter. Any advice is appreciated. There is an edit, and I will read that next, but I want to just say off the bat from the first half of this, leave him. He sounds a lot like my best friend's ex who did this kind of things, and throwing things, in my opinion, is just the start of what could turn into something really bad. So leave. I'm going to read the edit now. Hello everyone, I've gotten a lot of replies and wanted to give a little more background for better context. My boyfriend and I have been together since we were very young. We started dating at 19 and got pregnant about 3 months into the relationship. In the beginning, things were good. We argued occasionally, but it felt like normal couple disagreements. About a year after our daughter was born, he cheated on me for the first time. Okay, he's a cheater too. Leave. He started a relationship with a coworker. I only found out because one of my coworkers knew her and mentioned the new guy she was seeing. Looking back, a lot of his behavior made sense. He was always on his phone, and on his birthday, he was turning 21. I was still 20. He insisted on going out without me, only with his guy friends. I wanted him to enjoy his birthday, so I agreed. Later, I found out he met up with her. He claims they only kissed, but I don't know how true that is. We broke up after that. During the break, I did download a dating app, an LGBTQ one, and almost met up with someone, but I didn't. He was very upset when he found out. Despite everything, we ended up back together. After that, when we argued, his anger escalated. He would hit things, mostly walls, and one time a mirror. Our communication has never been great. We would ignore each other for days and then talk, in quotations, which usually meant saying we were both wrong and needed to move forward. I always accepted that. We eventually moved states and things were good for a while. Then I caught him texting another woman. Instead of addressing it, I also started talking to someone else. We took another break and then got back together again. Things were good for a long time after that, good enough that we decided to have another baby. But after I got pregnant, the arguing started again. During one argument, he punched the fridge so hard it left a fist imprint. During another, he threw our car keys on the ground and almost broke them. And then there was the most recent incident I mentioned previously. We have a lot of history, and this is as much as I can remember right now. He grew up in an extremely bad household, and I genuinely don't think he sees his behavior as bad. I also have my own struggles, including low self-esteem and depression and anxiety. Sorry this is so long, but I wanted to give a clearer picture. Edit 2. I want to thank everybody who has expressed concern about my safety. I truly hear what you're saying, even if it's hard to read. I'm not taking these comments lightly. I want to be clear that he has never hit me directly. I understand breaking things, punching walls, and explosive anger can still be bad and unsafe. I'm not saying the correct word because I don't know what is okay to say on here without issues. Anyways, I'm starting to process that more now, especially being pregnant and having a child already. I'm not in immediate danger at this moment, but I do recognize that things can escalate, and that's what scares me. I'm taking steps to think through my options and what would be safest for me and my children. This includes leaning on support, speaking to my therapist about my relationship, and educating myself about what a healthy relationship should look like. I also want to say that leaving is not as simple as it sounds when you've been together this long, share children, and have a lot of history. That doesn't mean I'm excusing the behavior, it just means I'm trying to navigate this carefully and realistically. I appreciate the honesty more than you know. Even if I don't have all the answers yet, these responses are helping me see things more clearly. Edit 3, just wanted to add some extra context. We currently live in a house we rent from my parents, and they live right behind us. I also work full-time while he does make more money than I do. My work hours are typically 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and he works overnight from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. I'm usually the one who wakes him up. Yes, most days I have to wake him up multiple times, and yes, he sometimes gets angry when this happens. I know working overnight makes it harder for him to wake up, which is why I've tried to be understanding about it. Okay. I, myself, have been in a bad relationship, so I know that it is hard to leave. I know that the length of time and having a child makes it hard to leave because I also had a child with this person, but you can do it. I know you can do it. Staying is not really an option, in my opinion. he has not good tendencies, and I don't want you to get hurt. I'm going to just see what some of the comments say. Not overreacting. You're raising your daughter in a toxic household. Yelling, swearing, throwing things. Are you serious? It's not acceptable behavior, and until we stop accepting it and teach our children it's not acceptable, it will continue in every generation. Not okay. Please get help and move on. Your daughter is watching and learning. 100% not overreacting. He's not a good person. You're teaching your daughter that treating you like this is acceptable. You are teaching her the standard of treatment from men for the rest of her life. Yeah, and also your daughter recognizes that it's not okay and wants you to leave. So I think that a separation is needed. On to the next one. Hopefully it's not as down as the one. I don't know. I just read the titles. Am I overreacting? My parents cleaned my room without permission, and my birthday gifts are gone, and I feel like I'm being gaslit. I live at home and have one clear boundary. Please do not clean or go through my room without asking me unless I am there. I went away for New Year's. I'm assuming this is an adult. And before I left, my birthday gifts were still there. On my birthday, I was severely sick and exhausted, so I intentionally left my gifts untouched next to my dresser in my room, planning to reorganize them later when I felt better. One gift was a large birthday bag I wanted to keep because it was sentimental. Inside were a gift card and 2 tickets for me and my partner to go to San Diego Harbor Experience. The tickets were actually a gift from his best friend, which makes this even harder. While I was gone, my parents cleaned and organized my room and closet. I genuinely believed they were trying to do something nice for me because I had been so sick. When I got back, I couldn't find the tickets, the gift card, or even the bag itself. I've now turned my entire room upside down, and I have come to the conclusion that it's not in my room. When I asked about it, my parents said no one touched anything, and my family thinks I must have thrown it away. I know in my heart that I didn't throw it away. Part of me keeps blaming myself for not putting everything in a safer place, but it still hurts knowing my space was touched after I asked for it not to be. Now I don't know how to tell my partner. I'm scared he'll be angry, not just at me, but at my family, and I don't want this to cause tension when no one had bad intentions. I feel devastated and honestly a little gaslit. I'm not even looking for an apology. I just want my reality acknowledged. I really don't think you're overreacting. I think that they're lying when they say that nothing was touched, because obviously things were touched if it's not where you left it and you were gone for... Well, it doesn't say how long you were gone for, but you were gone for at least a couple of days. And your things aren't where you left them. I'm going to read some of these comments. When I was younger and lived with my parents, I was a server at Shoney's. I came home one night to most of my clothes gone. My dad, quotations, cleaned my room. I'm thinking he just bagged it and put it somewhere. No, he donated them to the Salvation Army, so I had to replace most of my clothes on a server salary. On a separate occasion, I came home one night to my whole bed gone, mattress, bedpost, etc., all gone. He claimed bed bugs were there, but there were no sign of them on the mattress, nor any marks on me to say there were. So imagine my irritation when I had to buy an air mattress at 11 at night after working an 8-hour shift. Oh my goodness. This is exactly why cleaning without someone else's permission is actually cruel and mean. I cannot stand anyone doing this. I'm sorry this happened. Not overreacting. Yes, it can actually be quite controlling and a power move. I don't think that you're overreacting, and I think that you should keep trying to figure out what happened, because obviously they were gone. Interesting. We can fit one more in, so let me see what I can find. Okay, next one. Am I overreacting? My boyfriend can't fix things. When I step in to take care of it, he's such a baby about it that I'm ready to dump his bum tonight. We've been together for 2 years, living together for the last 4 months. Our fuel tank ran bone dry. We live in the deep north and rely on fuel for heat. I called in a favor and got our tank filled. My boyfriend put on his overalls, grabbed his multi-tool, and went into the basement to light the furnace. He went up and down the stairs a few times, over an hour before sitting at the table to eat. I overheard him calling a friend asking them to come by with a wrench. I grabbed the socket with a 3/8 bit and quietly sneaked downstairs. Fuel's been out for a couple hours at most. Long story short, I bled the line intermittently in between light ignitions until she ran clear. No air and no foam, no brainer. After 5 minutes, he comes downstairs and says his buddy is on the way with a wrench and says that I'm doing it wrong, bleeding too much. Sorry for being extra careful to not flood the pump or combust my guy. I just keep doing what I'm doing, and after a couple minutes, I close the valve, press the button, and she fires up. He said you didn't want to try it my way and storms off. Last week, my truck pan heater plug snapped. It literally just broke at the plug end from the sheer cold. He said he wanted to look after this for me since I've been so busy. 2 days later, he said it can't be fixed and I need to book with a mechanic. I woke up extra early on December 24th and snuck out to the hardware store to grab a plug end. Finished the work in 20 minutes in 40 degrees Celsius weather. Negative 40 degrees Celsius weather, sorry. When I shared with him what I did, I was so excited. I'm pretty handy, but that generally doesn't fall into electrical-based work. He responded with so much disdain. Oh, good, I was going to do that. I just didn't have wire snippers. I was happy to do it and thanked him for trying anyways. P.S. Neither did I, but I did have some pretty decent fisk snips and a torch to burn off the rubber casing. His reaction actually hurt me and put a damper on Christmas morning. I told him the following day that as much as I appreciate his willingness, that I didn't need him to do these acts of service. And it actually hurts me when he diminishes my skills and or doesn't even ask me for advice or tools when he's trying to accomplish something. Like, what are you calling a friend for? Your girl, the apparent love of your life and best friend, is just a spit away. And you're in luck, buddy. She's a pretty decent hand. In the last 4 months, there have been so many instances like this. The bathroom exhaust fan, the garage door opener, the lawnmower, the eave troughs, the iron gate. There's more, I can't remember them all. Every time it's the same. He tries to fix things of his own volition, doesn't ask for help. We are way beyond soft gestures of recommendations and just stomps around about it. I have tried to work collectively with him too. This is a gong show. He always making it so personal and taking it so personal. It's not that deep. Information and resources are universal. I just don't get it, and it's not cute. I'm actually started to become really resentful. Like, why can't he just embrace the part of me that is a half-greased monkey handy woman? I'm not spending the rest of my life or the rest of my lease, 8 months, pretending to be something I'm not, sneaking around to hardware stores and walking around eggshells so I don't destroy his masculinity or whatever. I gotta let this one go, eh? Am I overreacting? Edit, this post is blowing up to broadly answer the same questions without thinking too deeply. Have you communicated your feelings with your boyfriend? To the best of my abilities, I have communicated my feelings. So much that I'm experiencing communication fatigue, but here's the thing, communication can always improve. Why did you interrupt your boyfriend halfway through potentially fixing it? Because he wouldn't accept my help, and I was adamant that he knew how, and was adamant that he knew how. Because he was trying vice grips to loosen a brass nut, which was disfiguring the nut, because I refused to wait for his friend to deliver a wrench to help when we have wrenches, because it was negative 40 degrees Celsius out there, and dropped from 20 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees Celsius in the time he put on his overalls to the time he was eating a sandwich in an hour and a half later. Because the colder the air that blows into the choke behind the pump, the harder it is to ignite the pilot light, because this problem turned into an emergency. Why didn't you just call a mechanic or HVAC guy? Because it's been negative 40 degrees Celsius for over a month now, and mechanics and HVAC guys are booking 6 weeks out, because I don't want to pay a surcharge of $200 plus $150 an hour for something I could do myself. Why are you sneaking around fixing things and not openly fixing things like a regular human being? To avoid the discomfort I experience in his tantrum, to avoid the part where I am belittled, to avoid hurting his feelings, to make sure the job gets done, to avoid attempting collaborative teamwork where we have not been successful ever before, to have an opportunity to chill and enjoy the process without having to make room for him emotionally and physically. Also, because I'm sick and tired of being undervalued and underappreciated for my knowledge and skills. I don't even want to fight to be heard. I just want to exist peacefully, okay? All right, I don't think you're overreacting if he's belittling, words are hard, belittling you every single time that you try to fix something or you successfully fix something, and he's just dragging his feet on it, making it take longer. And why is he calling other people to ask for tools when you guys have tools at your house? That's weird. No, I don't think you're overreacting, and it doesn't sound like you guys are a good fit. I'm assuming that these issues started at some point when you had started living together. Otherwise, you would have noticed this issue triggering you a lot sooner. But I think you guys just aren't a good fit together. Let's see what the comments say. The problem is not that he doesn't know something. It's that he tries to pull you down lower than his level to feel good about himself. Never works. Facts. Yeah, for me, the biggest thing is he's not willing to learn from you. You're crushing it, fixing things for yourself, and rather than having you explain it so he can learn, he takes it as a personal attack. That sucks, and it's a pretty big show of emotional immaturity. I can understand him wanting to try and to be a man and to do the hard work around the house. Yuck, but it's many dudes' mentality. But that's nothing if he isn't willing to learn or self-educate or communicate with you on where he's stuck, and you can share knowledge and learn together. On top of that, he wants to demean your achievements by suking. You're clearly an independent person. I don't think you need someone trying to neuter that independence because they see it as a personal attack. Not overreacting. I'm sure their attitude would drive most people nuts. Yeah, just leave. You guys aren't a good fit for each other, and he's clearly not ready for a relationship like this. All right, so that is the end of this episode. That was Am I Overreacting Focus. Thank you for hanging out for Jills and Drama, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me what your verdict is on these 3 stories that we read today.